We are now just 3 months away from the release of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And yet somehow we have yet to see so much as a poster or a trailer that would give us an idea of what this film is going to be all about. The rumors are saying that WB has already accepted defeat on this project and are refusing to pump any kind of money into advertising the film because they know it is going to be yet another flop. This may be the first time in years that WB has exhibited any kind of self-awareness as it pertains to the lack of interest in the products that they are currently producing. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Our ambition to produce great high-quality films, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, these are brands that are known everywhere in the world. And the ability to drive those all over the world with great story is a big opportunity for us. We're going to focus on quality. We're not going to release any film before it's ready. The focus is going to be how do we make each of these films, in general, as good as possible.
For those that don't know, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is the sequel to the highest grossing DCEU solo project to date. The original Aquaman was released in 2018, a time before the dysfunction at WB had truly reared its ugly head.
Before the dark times, before the Empire.
It was still a time when the Snyderverse fans were somewhat optimistic about the future of their beloved franchise. You had a more than capable director in James Wan, building on the foundation that was established by Zack Snyder, offering a visually unique take on this character that had to be rebuilt from the ground up after being the butt of the joke for so many years.
Damn fool! You're more useless than Aquaman! You're lucky you're not doing that over here, in the ocean, or I would stop you!
Plus you just had the all-around appeal of the star of this film, Jason Momoa. Needless to say, when the original Aquaman was released, both fanboys and horny housewives rejoiced everywhere. And yes, a sequel was inevitable after the massive box office success of this film. The only issue is that all the news around the Aquaman sequel did not help the public's perception of that project.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
First, we had the whole Amber Heard fiasco, which didn't help the film at all, obviously, especially with her continued involvement with the project and WB's reluctance to move on without her. And it only made this sequel less and less appealing in a lot of people's eyes. In fact, watching it seemed about as appealing as a crazy ex-girlfriend taking a shit in your bed.
That is one big pile of shit.
Then there were reports of studio-mandated changes to the film that were intended to add more comedy. Yet another example of DC and WB trying to play catch-up with the MCU rather than forging their own path. This film has been delayed numerous times for a multitude of reasons, to the point that it would give The Flash a run for its money for being one of the most dysfunctional and chaotic productions in the history of film.
Talk to you soon, okay? Bye!
And then James Gunn got involved with DC and WB, and this was the thing that blew it all away in the Storm sweepstakes. Not only did James Gunn take the first opportunity possible to undermine the character that Zack Snyder and James Wan built.
Go f*** another fish, asshole!
Something that was doubled down on in a Flash post-credits scene that felt very much like it was a James Gunn late addition to the film. But then James Gunn and WB announced a full-blown DC reboot and even suggested that Aquaman star Jason Momoa could stick around, he would just be playing a different character.
I don't get it.
Once again completely undermining the importance of their upcoming Aquaman sequel, which now serves no greater purpose in the larger DC plans moving forward. And when you take everything I just mentioned into consideration, it's no wonder that nobody cares about this film. This is the most obvious case of self-sabotage that WB has ever committed, and that's saying a lot for a company like that.
Why are you the way that you are?
They've meddled with this film so much to this point that, surprise, surprise, there are reportedly those at the studio who feel like it's a bad film, and thus not worth promoting. I would not be surprised if Aquaman got the Batgirl treatment and was just canceled altogether. Ah yes, Batgirl, another DC film that was deemed unreleasable because of its poor quality. Are we noticing a pattern here?
Something very familiar about all this.
WB is in a terrible situation of their own creation right now, especially after just having multiple movies that they claim to have the utmost confidence in fail to connect with audiences and underperform at the box office. And now they have yet another film on their slate that they run the risk of losing more money on.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
The person that I feel most sorry for in this situation is James Wan, a director that I am a fan of and that I have the utmost confidence in, to the point that I believe he was once crafting a film that was worth seeing at one time. But there have just been so many outside forces working against him that I doubt the final product will resemble anything close to what he originally had planned.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
Another more than capable director who had his vision meddled with by a studio who was going to fail him the moment he took the job. Over the last year or so, audiences have started to prove that maybe they aren't as dumb as these studios think they are. With the existence of social media, every dirty little detail about this film is now public knowledge. And people are finally growing tired of wasting their time and their money on a product produced by a company who has all the resources in the world but can't seem to get out of their own way.
Not impressed.
Let's put it this way, The Flash was heavily advertised before its release and was seemingly being propped up by this fake internet hype, and look how that turned out. And you could say the same for Blue Beetle and Black Adam as well. So what chance does Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom have when no one is even interested enough to even attempt to generate some kind of fake social media hype for it?
No chance.
Even your typical comic book movie shills have been awfully quiet as it pertains to their desire to see this film. Perhaps even they can see the writing on the wall through their stubborn fan goggles. I do believe there was a time when this movie stood a chance to succeed, but we are a long way removed from that point. The time has come for WB to cut its losses and hope and pray that James Gunn can reestablish interest in the DC brand. I wouldn't personally bet on him to do so, because he has his own DC flop on his resume, and his appeal and name recognition doesn't seem to hold much weight outside of the social media realm. So it's safe to say that WB is in a bad way right now, and WB has nobody to blame but themselves.
Y'all be cool. Right on.